In the worldwide war against crime, there are men and women trained to sink their own identity in the international underworld. They work alone, in danger and in shadow, unrecognized by friend and enemy alike. They are the operators of the almost legendary Ghost Squad.
Reports from Kuala itself speak of an intensive renewal of fighting in this small but strategically important state. The Munfeld truce was shattered last week when government forces clashed to the north of the capital. Since then...
All right!
100-mile front. World reaction has been immediate. In Manila, where delegates from...
What do you want?
Police. You're Anton Durkovich of the Zenith Importing Agency?
What's the matter? Have I parked my car on the wrong side of the road?
We'd like to ask you some questions. Can you come with us now?
Questions? What questions? I live a simple life. I'm trying to make an honest living here in your country.
Sorry, we had our duty.
And look, Inspector, I'm an old man. I was just going to bed. What can be so important to drag me out in the middle of the night?
Latest reports from Kuala state that refugees are again on the move, fleeing from the battlefront.
And you ever watch television, Mr. Durkovich?
What has that to do with it? I want to know.
Come on, let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, but in my opinion, that is a decision that should await Mr. Stocks's return. Yes. Yes, sir, he should be back at his desk about the middle of next week. Right. Goodbye, sir. Now, Anton Durkovich, born 1912 in the Serbian town of Grutza, which you left when you were very young, correct?
Beautiful place, but too small for a man with ambition.
So you moved to Vienna, where you eventually opened your first business.
Business? I used to stand outside the opera on rainy nights. Wealthy aristocrats would give me large tips to fetch them a taxi.
Which you never did.
There was a shortage.
So the police caught up with you, and you suffered your first arrest at the early age of 8.
6, Superintendent. I was a precocious child.
Next report, Salonika 1935, involved in selling unseaworthy boats to seamen trying to smuggle Greek refugees out of Asia Minor.
All the boats got there.
But several never got back.
Is it my fault if they overloaded them? They were desperate.
During the last war, you were in Mexico, running a wine importing business. You left suddenly in 1945.
I was always a European at heart.
After the police found out that the only imported thing about your wine was the labels.
It gave those peasants a thrill to think they were drinking French wine. I like to make people happy.
Milan, 1946, several black market deals in food and cigarettes. 1948, Berlin currency swindle. And in 1951, you cleaned up a small fortune selling stolen French military equipment to the Algerians for use against the French.
Well, they paid me in gold. Otherwise, I might have sold it back to the French. But you know how little the franc was worth in those days.
You don't seem to have spent much of your time in jail.
I prefer spending my time in hotels.
And finally, 5 years ago, you came to London and started the Zenith Importing Company.
That's right, a small business to keep me in my old age. Watches, trinkets, souvenirs, you know the kind of thing, very innocent.
Is it?
Ah, look, Superintendent, why should I lie to you? Everything you've got there is true, well, more or less. And you can also write down that Anton Durkovich is retired. I have heard that England is a country where the food is inedible, but where one can live in peace, make an honest living, and where nobody bothers you. Well, now I know different.
We know different, too. Certain sizable sums of money are paid regularly into a Swiss bank by your innocent little business.
So, it's a normal business practice?
Except that the money is then automatically transferred to the account of a certain Otto Jurgens in Paris.
What of it?
Do you know what business Jurgens operates these days?
He's an agent like myself, a little man.
Except that he deals in narcotics, and that's not so little. Interpol have as fat a file on him as we have on you. They've asked us to investigate.
Oh, Superintendent, this Jurgens is just a name to me. I tell you I've retired. I run a small business. How can I help you?
We want you to buy some of these.
Oh, no, please, please, Superintendent. It is too late at night for jokes.
This is the new Canadian automatic rifle, the X211. It has a range of 1,500 yards, extraordinary accuracy, and a greatly increased speed of fire.
I'm quite sure it's very efficient, but I just don't need one.
Up to now, it's been issued only to NATO forces in Europe. But in the last few months, they've been showing up in large quantities in Kowloon, where they're being used by the government forces in the fighting going on.
I know. The Russians have made an exact copy and are smuggling them in order to discredit the Americans. Is that it?
It's not funny. The Russians accuse the Americans of breaking the arms embargo. The Geneva talks may collapse in the next few days. If that happens, the fighting may spread to other parts of Southeast Asia. We want to find out who is running these guns and where they're getting them. And the simplest way to find out is to try and buy some.
So, the British police came to a dirty, crooked Central European dope peddler for help. You come to me for help.
Mr. Durkovich, scum who run traffic of this sort will do business only with their own kind. That's why we've come to you.
I'm sorry, Superintendent. Guns frighten me.
More than are looking into Herr Jurgens.
Now, look, I'm an old man. This Jurgens is only a man I do business with.
Drugs?
Business.
All right, Durkovich, we're holding you for questioning. Miss Carter, I finished with Durkovich. Send in Stevenson, will you?
Superintendent.
Oh, hold that, Miss Carter. Yes?
How much money are you prepared to risk on this absurd gamble?
50,000.
And I'm just to act as agent, introduce you to the right people.
Not me. A man will contact you.
A man?
You will know him as Mr. Greenslade. Well?
Maybe we can arrange something. My usual fee is 5%, but in a dangerous job like this, I'm sure you won't think 10 unreasonable.
5.
Oh, but Superintendent...
Do I have to remind you, Durkovich, that you're in no position to bargain?
All right.
All right, Miss Carter. Forget it.
And to think that the English say a man's home is his castle. What do you drink, Mr. Greenslade?
She's very beautiful. Your daughter?
Let's stick to our business, shall we?
I'm sorry. I'll have a whiskey if you don't mind.
Soda or water?
I prefer it neat.
Well, I suppose you'll do, but to me you still smell like a policeman, Mr. Greenslade. At least I hope they dreamt up a good story for you.
Conventional, anyway. A revolutionary coup in Cataranda.
South America. A bit unimaginative, but not unconvincing. And your connection?
Business interests. I have an engineering firm.
Not bad. And the revolutionaries came to you because of your trading contacts in Europe.
And because I've been a sympathizer for many years.
Not too strong, I hope. Businessmen have a horror of idealists, especially arms dealers. Your interest must be sordid and financial, undiluted, like your whiskey.
Where do we start?
Is your passport in order?
Permanently?
Well, then we catch the afternoon plane to Rome.
Rome?
Don't sound so surprised, my young friend. There are only about a dozen people we can talk to. They live in Biarritz, Monte Carlo, Lisbon, Rome. Oh, I haven't been to Rome since the time I made a fortune out of martial aid.
Distributing it to the Italians?
No, selling it back to the Americans. A beautiful place. Where better to start?
Where indeed. Come in.
You ordered drinks, senor.
No, I did not. You got the wrong room.
No, he didn't. You put them down over there. Grazie.
Grazie, senor.
And what are you celebrating this time?
I think I found our man.
That's the fourth time in a fortnight.
So I was unlucky.
I only have your word that any of these creatures even exist.
Relax, my friend. Have a drink.
Durkovich, you're beginning to make me sick. Don't you realize what all this is about?
You know, the trouble with you is that you're cooped up in here for too long. Get out and enjoy the sights. Hello? Yes, Jurkovic speaking. Oh, of course. Yes, certainly. Fine. Goodbye.
Well?
I thought you were going out.
Who was that?
We have an appointment in an hour at a villa near Rome. You better have this drink. You'll need it. I have done business with this man before.
What's his name?
Esposito.
Italian? Spanish?
You must judge for yourself. His name is Tony Esposito.
All right, Mr. Tony?
Well, that's that, Willie, old cock. How was the bird line?
What?
Come on, the bird line, the time.
Oh, 1 minute, 45 seconds.
Oh, I've been living it up too much. All right, I'll have to watch it. Answer that, Willie.
Hello? Yeah? Yeah, here.
Have him sent in. It's no good. I'll have to lay off the booze. Well, come on, Willie, old cock. What are you waiting for? Oh, don't be shy, Anton. Nobody's going to make you touch her toes.
My dear Tony, how wonderful to see you.
Is this the man you want me to meet?
Yes, Mr. Greenslade.
Greenslade, eh?
He runs an engineering business in Cataranda. I've been in London recently.
And what do you want from me, Mr. Greenslade?
He has friends among the rebel group in Cataranda.
I asked Mr. Greenslade here.
I'm buying rifles.
How many?
5,000.
They are planning to attack the capital in the
Do you
spring.
mind, Anton? How do you think I can get rifles into Cataranda, Mr. Greenslade?
We can arrange for a coastal tramp ship to collect them at any point south of Panama, outside territorial waters.
When?
End of the year at latest. They need a 3-month training period.
And how do your friends think they're going to pay me?
50% now, the rest on delivery.
All this can be arranged later, Tony.
Oh, shut up, Anton. Mr. Greenslade here strikes me as the sort of man I was always brought up to think of as a gentleman. Right, Mr. Greenslade? Well, all our ironmonger is listed and priced there. Look it over and let me know. Well, now, Anton, where have you been keeping yourself all these years?
I run a small business in London.
Get away. London? I haven't been there since during the war. Well, the old place seems to suit you, all that fish and chips, eh?
Oh, I never touch it, Tony. Never.
You know your trouble, Anton. Not enough exercise.
Oh, I'm quite happy without it.
All that fat. Bad for the art. Here, come over here a minute. Have a look at that little lot. See that? There's 140 pounds there, Anton, boy. Now you have a try.
Oh, no, Tony, really, I'd rather
Come
not.
on, Anton, try your strength. Well, get down on your knees. Hey, Willie, come have a look at this. You're really in a bad way, Anton.
Mr. Esposito.
Yeah.
I'm afraid what I want doesn't appear to be here.
Not there? What do you mean?
Well, there'll be a lot of mountain fighting when the revolt breaks. They want something with extra long range and rapid fire. How about this new Canadian job, the X211?
You come to the wrong place.
But, Tony, that's why we came to you. Carbines and mortars, we can buy
I
anywhere.
can't help you.
I forgot to tell you the currency we're paying in.
If you were going to say dollars, I'm still not interested.
Not dollars. Gold.
Oh, there you are, darling. Anton! Why didn't you tell me he was coming? Hello. I'm Elizabeth Esposito.
I guessed as much. My name's Philip Greenslade.
And they're just leaving.
What do you mean, Tony? If Anton's in Rome, he must come to our weekend party. And his friend, of course.
That's out of the question. They're both very busy men.
But surely nobody's too busy to come to a party.
I think that Tony is right. Maybe another time. Come, my friend.
How dare you treat me like that?
Oh, shut up.
Sometimes I wonder if you ever left that London gutter.
Well, you're free to leave here whenever you like, aren't you? But you won't, will you? Life's too good here for you, isn't it? One way and another. Now, what about this party? How many of your fancy friends have you asked?
15, 20.
Well, you're going to have one more, a very special guest invited by me personally. Willie, get on the line to Paris. I want to speak to Otto Jürgens. And Schnell.
Okay.
Relax, my friend. I told you everything would be all right, and it will be.
You said he'd contact us again in a couple of days.
Well, a day more or less. He's a very busy man. Look, he's got those guns. You want them. Business like nature abhors a vacuum.
Look, I'll give him till tonight, then I'll...
Hello? Yes, speaking. Yes, ma'am. Yes, of course. Alone? Yes. Yes, of course I'll be there. Goodbye.
Well?
He wants to see me at the villa tonight.
I'll come with you.
No, alone. He insisted.
Why?
I suppose he wants to talk about some business. You know, contracts, fees, discounts. After all, don't forget, I am your agent. I think Tony is right. These things are best left to professionals.
You mean the deal's on?
Yes. The deal is on.
Really? Enjoying the party?
Of course, darling.
Yeah, I thought it was your type.
Mmm.
Who's the new girl?
She's a nice girl, hands off.
Pity Greenslade was too busy, isn't it?
Look, I only met him once.
Once is usually enough for you.
You bore me. Haven't seen you for a long time.
No, too long.
You're all alone, my dear. Aren't you enjoying yourself?
Oh, yes, very much.
Good.
Who gave it to you?
A bit early for that, isn't it, Giovanni?
Never too early or too late.
Too late for you, old man.
With you, yes, old woman. Very much too late.
Look, there he is. Come on, let's go.
Why, hello, girl.
Well, Giovanni,
Son?
got everything you want?
No, but I soon will have.
Well, Anton, everything's arranged. There's a ship leaving Genoa in about a week's time now. It's all planned down to the last detail. The ship will anchor about 15 miles off the coast.
Tony, please.
Why, what's wrong?
This information, it is dangerous, no? But it is not for my ears. You must discuss that with Mr. Greenslade.
Still the same old Anton, eh? Careful, Charlie. Take your 5% and leave everybody else to do the real work. Well, this time it's going to be different. I've been making one or two inquiries.
Inquiries?
Oh, don't look so worried, Anton. Greenslade's all right, but he's a new face. I like doing business with old faces.
But, Tony, I don't understand.
It's really very simple. I do my business with you. I tell you all about the arms delivery and all the details. You pay me. What happens after that is your affair.
But why? I give you my word.
Oh, I know, and I believe it, don't I?
And what are you worrying about?
I'm not worried. Do you want to know why?
Because we're old friends, eh?
Oh, no, much better than that. Come over here. There's someone I want you to see.
Yvette! What is she doing here?
We just thought we'd invite her down for the weekend.
But she's supposed to be studying in Paris.
Lovely girl, isn't she? I'll take me out off to you, Anton. You can't beat these French birds.
Why is she here?
Oh, don't worry. No harm's going to come to her.
Harm? What do you think? What are you talking about? She has nothing to do with this.
Oh, yes, she has. Everything. You see, I want to know I can trust you. This way I'm absolutely certain.
Yes? Yes, the Oriented Travel Agency with offices in Athens, Cairo, and Aden. That sounds promising. Look, you said something about an interest in a small fishing fleet. Do you know any more? Yeah. San Antonio, southwest of Rome. Nope, never heard of it. Yeah, well, I expect it is if you're lucky enough to get a holiday. Any more? Well, that's quite a list. Reads like a one-man common market. All right, goodbye. I've just been checking up on the pies your friend Esposito has his fingers in. The legal ones, I mean.
Forget it.
What happened?
The deal is off. It's all finished.
What do you mean?
It's all finished. I'm going back to London.
What did he say?
What difference does it make? He suspects you because he doesn't know you.
Go on.
Well, you are to know nothing until the shipment reaches South America. By then, there will be nothing to trace it back to him, so it's no good going on with this.
You mean he'll do business with you?
Yes, he would, but I'm not interested.
Why not?
Now, look, I agreed to act as agent, introduce you in the right quarters, fix up the deal, but this is too difficult. Now, I'm not cut out for this sort of work.
Turkovich, you're scared.
You know, you English sometimes make me sick. A lot of little St. Georges setting out on white chargers to fight wicked dragons. Good or evil, black or white, that's all you understand.
I understand what I read in the newspapers.
I never read the papers.
The fighting would be stopped if it weren't for men like Esposito, whose fingers itch every time some human tragedy like Kualum offers them a chance at a quick profit.
Rubbish. Tony Esposito didn't start the war in Kualum. He's a businessman. People want the goods, he has them. The law of supply and demand. Private enterprise. You English seem to be so fond of private enterprise.
In this case, we're talking about the peace of the world. That's what could be at stake here.
The peace of the world doesn't depend on people like Tony Esposito.
Then what does it depend on?
Human nature. The law of the jungle. Destroy or be destroyed. People will always find weapons to kill each other with, or if they don't, they'll tear each other to pieces with their bare hands.
Rubbish.
You think so, huh? Trouble is that you and me just don't speak the same language. I was born in a miserable little village in Serbia before the First War. People there didn't know anything about politics, but that didn't stop the Austrian soldiers from burning every house to the ground. My father was killed by a stray bullet in a revolution in Romania 7 years later. While you were being taught how to play cricket in an English public school, I watched my mother and my sister die of starvation in Vienna because there was no work. I never went to school. The only lesson I've learned in my whole life is survival. There is only one thing that matters to Anton Jurkovic, himself. Hello? Speaking. Yes. No, Tony, no. Oh, Tony, please, no. All right. All right. There has been a change of plan. A ship is sailing tonight.
Where from?
He didn't say just a ship. He wants me to meet him there with the money.
Where? The villa?
No, not the villa.
Where then?
No, I'm not going. You can go by yourself if you want.
I thought you said he wouldn't do business with me. I see. Now, what are you going to do? Run away? Hide somewhere? How long do you think it'd take Interpol to pick you up? A week? 2 weeks? Wouldn't be a big job to tie you in with Jurgens and the Paris drug traffic. You'd be over 60 by the time you came out of jail, an old man. You talk about surviving. Well, can you see yourself surviving 10 years in a prison cell?
He wants me to meet him tonight at a small fishing port southwest of Rome.
Fishing port? What name?
What are you going to do?
Leave that to me. You won't come to any harm.
It is called Sant Antonio.
Sant Antonio, you sure?
Well, if you don't believe me, ask him yourself.
All right, wait here. It's all there.
How do you know I won't just pick it up and run away?
Because you're a realist. Your running days are over. Hello? Now, get me the police, will you? Special Branch, Department 16. I want to speak to Capitano Petaroso.
All right, grazie. Well, Durkovic left the hotel half an hour ago. Alone. I told him to go by taxi. We pick him up on the coast road.
Which car are you wishing to use?
Why?
Because this road is still very, very bad in patches.
Well, we better take the convertible. Have it ready in 10 minutes, will you?
Okay.
And that makes 8 for you.
What about me?
Don't worry, I take care of everybody. Drink it up.
All alone, Yvette?
I'm afraid I don't fit in very well at parties these days. Got out of the habit.
Well, perhaps the journey tired you out a bit, eh?
No, not really. Would you get me another drink?
Hello, drinking. What does the doctor say about this?
Oh, I only had half a glass. A little champagne won't do any harm.
All right.
Oh, another one.
Yeah, ruin find it. Sorry, Tony. Take it easy, Alfredo. I shan't be needing you tonight. I hope you win. The jackpot looks worth it. There we are.
Thank you. Why did you ask me to come here?
Well, Liz and I thought the change do you a bit of good. You've been working very hard in Paris.
Is that the only reason?
What do you mean by that?
From my room before, I caught a glimpse of someone leaving the villa. A man. A fat, ugly man. You know who I'm talking about.
Anton Durkovic.
Then it was him. Is he the reason you asked me here?
Now, why on earth should I do a thing like that?
Only you know how much I loathe that man. All the years of suffering he caused me. The thought of even being in the same house where he's been.
Now, you listen to me, Yvette. Durkovic came here to try to interest me in a business deal. I told him I wasn't interested and to clear off. I'm sorry you happened to see him, but it won't happen again, I promise you, so forget all about it, okay?
Okay. I can't help it. I try to forget, but I can't. I suppose I'm as bad as him in some ways. I should have gone to the police. It's a vicious circle, isn't it? The dope peddler and the dope addict. One has to protect the other with their silence. Oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
No, forget it.
No, after all the kindness you've shown me. But it was just seeing him like that. Like he walked straight out of one of my nightmares.
Yeah, I know.
I really ought to be thanking you instead of asking questions.
No, it's our pleasure to see you getting better.
You know, I've never really thanked you properly. The clinics, the private doctors, and then helping me to study. I have no idea how much it must have cost you. Why did you do it?
Well, what's the point of being a rich man if you can't put some of your money to good use, eh? I hear you're making good progress with the dress designing.
Yes, I am. I sent in some designs last month to one of the big houses. They want me to come and see them next season.
Well, that's marvelous. But wouldn't you rather set up on your own?
Of course. Everyone dreams of that. But you need capital.
Well, perhaps we could have a little chat about that sometime.
No. You've done too much.
Well, I'd like to see the designs first, find out for myself what kind of talent you really got. You want something?
Willie says the car's ready. You never told me you were going out.
Oh, excuse me, I've got to go out on business.
Business? What business?
You don't need me. Get one of your blue-blooded Italian counts to keep you happy. And enjoy the party. And look after Yvette. I want to make sure she has a good time.
Have you met Carlo yet?
No, I don't think so.
Well, then come along with me and I'll introduce you. You'll love him.
Please, I'm quite happy here. I don't feel like dancing.
Oh, you don't have to dance. There's the gardens, the orange grove, the swimming pool. Let Carlo show you around.
You're very kind, Liz. All right, I'll do my best.
Good. Well, you go on into the lounge and I'll join you in a minute.
All right.
How much I'm sticking out my neck. You don't know the Commandante.
Captain Petaroso, this is the only way we can get real evidence.
Pop in. There's a car approaching along the coast road. Signor Miller, for the last time, you have only the word of this confessed criminal.
Now listen, Captain. NATO supplies travel regularly by rail north from Naples. The train passes through some pretty desolate country, even more desolate since last year's earthquake. In many places, the train slows down almost to a halt.
So?
The line passes less than 5 kilometers from here. The arms could be transferred to a fishing vessel, which could rendezvous outside territorial waters with a ship bound for Kuala Lumpur or South America.
Very interesting. But pure theory. For one thing, the trains are checked at every station.
Captain, in all your years as a policeman, have you never heard of a bribed ordnance clerk?
Valencia! Nessuno ci muova!
Say, what's going on here?
Who are you?
Well, I could ask the same question of you.
I am a police officer. May I see your papers?
What do you think we are, smugglers or something?
Papers, please.
Look, we don't have any papers. We're a couple of photographers.
Photographers?
Sure. We're doing a feature for Deed magazine about Italian fishermen. We just came here to finish off the assignment with a few shots of them loading up and putting out to sea.
Signore, siamo semplici pescatori.
What?
We are simple fishermen. What do the police want with us?
Say, be careful of that thing. It cost $1,000. Well, what do you think about this for an angle? Italian fishermen constantly persecuted by police who suspect them of smuggling. How about that?
Yeah. The Commandante is not going to like this one little bit. But, Signor Miller, you will be there in the morning to give your reasons to the Commandante.
Hello? Look, I want you to get me the telephone number of Tony Esposito, Villa Quintini, and call me back, will you? Thank you. Hello? Yeah. Oh, yes. This is Philip Greenslade speaking. I'd like to speak to Mr. Esposito, if I may. Oh, I see. Well, have you any idea when he'll be back? Right, well, could I speak to Mrs. Esposito? Thank you.
Please, dear Bonnie, that's your wife over there.
I know, and that's why I'm over here.
Nonsense. Mr. Greenslade, what a lovely surprise. No, I don't know when he'll be back. But why don't you come over and join the party? We'd love to have you.
Go away.
Oh, I'm sorry, I really am. Well, if you change your mind, come over. We'll all be here till dawn.
Thanks. Goodbye. He did go out.
Oh, very significant.
And Durkovich went to meet him, I'm certain of that.
And now perhaps you would like me to search every nightclub and bar in Rome, huh?
Don't bother. You just stay on the end of that telephone.
And you?
I'm going to a party.
All this part of the coast took a bashing in the earthquake last year. This little harbour hasn't been used since, abandoned. You never see a soul for miles.
How long have we to wait here?
Willie, I want you to keep a watch out. Let me know the moment the first boat comes into the harbour, right?
Okay.
Now then, Anton, what have you got in that little box for me? You really are in a bad shape, aren't you?
Don't worry, it's all there.
Relax, Anton. Nothing's going to happen for at least an hour. The fishing boats don't leave San Antonio till midnight, and that's 15 miles up the coast. Well, you didn't think I was going to load rifles there, did you? It's a tourist resort. That'd be asking for trouble. I'll use this place. What's worrying you now?
Nothing, Tony, nothing.
Not too much.
Ah, thank you.
Well, that ought to see us through for a while.
Yes, now it's your turn to do it. 1,
More,
2,
more,
3, 4.
You think the view from here is good? Tell you, Yvette, from the top of the hill, it is something fantastic. Let me show you.
How old are you, Carlo?
What difference does that make?
Seems so many years since I listened to people talking the way you talk.
Love makes everyone feel young.
Do you know anything about love?
Of course I do.
No, I mean real love. Gentleness, sympathy, unselfishness. It's very rare. One day, when you're older, maybe you'll understand.
Oh, now you've upset the poor boy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm not in the right mood.
Cigarette?
No, thank you.
That's what you need.
Liz! Liz, there's someone to see you.
Who?
I don't know, a man. Never seen it before.
Mr. Greenslade, you're in good time. The party's just warming up.
I wish I could stay.
Well, you don't think I'm going to let you go now, do you?
Well, I really came to see your husband.
But I told you on the phone, he's not here.
You've no idea where he is?
Why should he tell me? I'm only his wife. I can see you're not married, Mr. Greenslade.
Well, it's very important that I get in touch immediately with Anton Durkovich. I think he may be with your husband.
What do you want with Anton Durkovich?
We've met before, haven't we?
I don't think so.
I'm afraid Yvette can't help you either.
Why, of course. In his flat, the picture. Mademoiselle...
I take it you are a friend of his. If you are, would you please leave his house at once?
Now, wait a minute, Yvette. I'm sure all this can be sorted out in the morning.
I think Durkovich may be in very great danger. The Rome police are looking for him.
Good. I'm only sorry I cannot help them.
I take it then you're not his daughter?
His daughter? Is that what he told you? Oh, he must be sick as well as evil.
Why do you say that?
Well, Yvette's been very ill. A breakdown.
Why do you say he's evil?
You are a friend of his?
Hardly. We only met 2 weeks ago.
Then you don't know him the way I do.
Yvette, I think perhaps you ought to go to bed.
Would you like to tell me about it?
All right. When I was 18, I went to Paris to study. My father had died when I was young, and I'd only been there a year when my mother was taken ill and died. Her death affected me terribly. So friends of mine thought I needed cheering up, taking out of myself. Only they had a special way of doing it. To them, taking marijuana was fun, a new kind of excitement. Within a few months, it had become my whole life.
And the man who supplied it was Anton Durkovich.
Can't you see you're upsetting her?
Every time I came to him, the price would be higher. I borrowed money. I even stole from my friends. But it was no use. Always he demanded more from me. One day, he tried to kiss me. It was horrible.
Go on.
Finally, one night I came to him. I was desperate. I had nothing for a week. He told me he was going away, that I'd never see him again. He pushed me out of the room and slammed the door in my face.
What happened to you?
Oh, luckily for me, I collapsed on the way back to my room.
Luckily?
It was late at night. A doctor found me in the street and an ambulance took me to the hospital. When a picture of me appeared in the paper, Monsieur Esposito started to send me money.
Your husband's a very kind man, Mrs. Esposito.
Yes. Yes, he is.
I had no idea he took such an interest in other people's welfare.
Let me get you a clean ashtray.
How long have you been smoking these?
Who are you? What do you want?
I want to know where your husband went tonight.
I don't know. I tell you, I don't know.
Are you sure Monsieur Esposito and Anton Durkovich were together tonight?
Yes, and to fix up some very different business from this, something much more dangerous. Now, can you tell me where they went?
Don't tell him anything.
I don't know what to think anymore.
Well, perhaps I can help you. You say Tony Esposito sent you money to be cured while you were in Paris?
Yes.
Did you ever see him during all that time?
No, not this weekend.
Then how'd you know the money came from him?
That's what I was told. A man who worked for him in Paris gave it to me regularly.
A man called Otto Jürgens?
How did you know? It was a secret.
Exactly. A complete secret. That's the way Durkovich wanted it. He didn't want you to know where all that money came from.
I don't believe you.
Now, will you tell me where they went tonight?
No, Yvette. Can't you see he's not a friend of Anton's? He's a policeman.
All I know is he said something about the coast road being in a bad state after the earthquake. It's not very much, I'm afraid.
It's enough.
I'm so sorry for you, Liz.
Liz, the old Countess had a wonderful idea. We're all going for a moonlight swim, huh?
But I don't want to go swimming too.
Yes, you do. You'll love
No.
it. I'll teach you to swim.
But I can't swim.
Oh, come on, Liz. Don't spoil the party. Come on.
Capitano Pedoroso, now listen to me carefully. Get your men together.
The first boat is just making fast now.
They're late. Get Filippo in here right away.
Okay.
Well, Anton, that contains the exact time and place for the rendezvous in the Caribbean.
What about Yvette?
Yvette will be returned to Paris as soon as the arms delivery's made.
you
You're
said that-
late.
Scusi, signori, it was not our fault. The two American
Yeah, I know
photographers.
about that. I gave permission, but that was only supposed to take half an hour.
Then we have trouble with the polizia.
The police? What did they want?
Well, they come looking for things. They ask a lot of questions about you, signori, and about a man you are to meet. And there was an Inglese.
Green slate.
Do we start loading now?
Oh, you damned idiot. Filippo, I want every boat out of this harbour in 5 minutes. Report back to San Antonio at dawn as usual. Capito?
Si, capito.
On your way. Willie, get the car, bring it round the other side of the jetty, and we'll take the Salerno road and Schnell.
Okay.
Actually, I can explain everything.
Second.
I could have told them about this place, but I didn't.
Oh, what's wrong about you? Wasn't I, Anton? Always thought you were a dirty, snivelling coward. The middleman. Taking your 5% then. Leaving everybody else to do the dirty work. But I thought you'd have more sense than to turn stool pigeon.
It's not true, Tony. It's not true.
Isn't it? Get down on your knees. Go on your knees. Now get up again. Come on, up. Now down. Up again. Come on, up. Quicker, quicker. Yes, you really do need some exercise. Take your jacket off. Come on, take it off. Now hand it over here.
What are you going to do?
Well, we don't want any identification marks, do we, Anton? Just one more nameless, swollen corpse washed up on the Italian coast. The end of a great career.
Oh, Tony, please.
Come over here.
Come in. I'm for Paris!
You ran out on me in Paris.
You got scared when the police started to ask questions, didn't you? And you scarpered to save your own skin, left me to clear up the mess.
No,
and when that girl's case got in the papers, it could have ruined me.
Oh, Tony, you don't understand. I did it for her sake.
For her sake? You never did anything in your rotten life for anybody but yourself.
That is not so.
You're calling me a liar, Anton.
Tony, you have to listen to me.
All right. Say your piece.
I did it to save her. She was so lonely, so desperate. I tried everything to make her give up drugs. At first, I thought if I made them dear enough, well, she would have to give it up. I did everything to make her see a doctor, but it was no use. She thought I was just trying to extort more money from her, but that wasn't true. I wanted to save her.
So you shoved her out into the street.
Well, it was the only way. If I would have cut off supplies, she would have got them from another source. It was I who arranged for doctor and ambulance.
And then you ran off to England and became a respectable businessman.
Well, what else could I do?
And every month you sent money to your old mate Otto Jurgens to hand over to the girl.
Well, she wouldn't have taken it if she'd known where it came from.
Or if she'd known why you sent it.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't think I'm blind, do you, Anton? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, a man of your age, carrying around a photograph like a kid of 16. You don't think a bird like Yvette could ever fancy you, do you? Don't you ever look at yourself in the mirror? A fat, ugly man, that's what she calls you. Fat and ugly. She hates you, Anton. Hates you. Are the boats clear?
Yeah.
Car in position?
Yeah. What about him?
I'll leave him. He can't tell him anything now. Give me a hand with that. Come on, get snap.
Occupational hazard. He knew the risks. It had to happen sooner or later. Trouble was, he was never quite ruthless enough.
Well, we got what we came for. We found hundreds like this in a cave across the bay. Not hard to find when you know where to look.
Well, the Commandant, he should be pretty pleased. It might even mean promotion for you.
Interpol's report on the organizations controlled by Esposito. Everything from dope to diamond smuggling. Gun running was almost a sideline.
Yes, well, one of these days when I get some leave, I may browse through it.
Leave? After relaxing for 2 weeks at one of the smartest hotels in Rome, followed by 3 days in Paris at government expense?
Oh, yes, I wanted to ask you about that, the question of the 5%.
5%?
Well, Derkovich earned it after all, and I think I know what he would have done with it. There's a girl in Paris who has plans for setting up in a business of her own.
Oh, well, I'll see what can be done, but she'll have to be content with banknotes. The gold sovereigns are safe under lock and key in the Bank of England.
Well, I'll ask her if she agrees.
You'll ask her?
Yes, she's spending a few days in London, and I thought it'd do her good if she met some normal, uncomplicated, clean-living, hard-working people for a change.
Don't let me keep you. Where are you taking her?
Nowhere. We're going back to my flat for a quiet meal and a chat about life.